Fabulous.
Okay, sorry.
That is not called Patrick Flanery either.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a real thrill to welcome to his very first convention, Mr. John Patrick Flanery.
Sorry, man. This is great. Hey.
I feel like a fucking rock star.
I'm contractually obligated to not call you Powder this time.
You can call me whatever, man. I hate those douchebag actors that are like, don't call me by my character name. That's past me. It's in my past. I don't relive. Bullshit, man. It's the only reason we're talking to you. You can call me Powder, call me Young Indy, or as
Senator Stilson.
As Senator Stilson, or Young Indy, as on my hairstylist for the whole show. He was a gay guy, and he used to call me Young Sandy. We're ready for you in the chair, Young Sandy. Swear to God, he would do that. He was funny as hell. He was like, are you done on makeup? Are you ready to come in my chair, Young Sandy? I was like, right on, brother. I'm coming right there, man.
I gotta say, the last time that I saw you, when we were doing the Boondock premiere out at the Angelica, you had the most amazing stamina because, and this is absolutely true, when Troy Norman and Sean came into town for the Boondock 2 premiere, we said, okay, we're going to do the Q&A afterwards, and we're going to go do a little signing over at Trinity Hall next door, maybe 30, 45 minutes, and these guys all stuck around, signed every single thing that everyone brought up, and there was not a time, I know it was for me, I put on the event, I wasn't even one of the people in the movie, there was not a time where there was not a shot of Bushmills and a Killian's or a Smittix in my hand, and you gave an interview about 2 hours into it, and you were the most coherent person I'd ever heard, more than you had any right to. What is the normal recovery time for you after a Boondock Saints 2 premiere event?
Now, this is the deal. After the first shot, this is my methodology right here. It's like, fuck yeah, woo, yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm totally feeling it. Another one, yeah, cheers, what's up, woo. That's totally it, man. Whoever's behind me is just but I can, man, because everybody hands you a shot, and they're offended if you don't do a shot with them. But if I did 200 shots of Jamie's, I'd die. I'm not afraid of a cocktail, but come on. I'm
and neither is Norman or Troy.
Yeah, Troy ain't afraid. If you're hiding something from Troy, don't put it under a cocktail. He'll fucking find that shit. It could be your cocktail. That cat is not afraid.
Let's talk about some of the first work that you did as young Indiana Jones. One of your first parts on screen, and you're one of the most iconic characters to come out in the last 25 years. Tell me about the process when you're up for the part, you're doing the read-throughs, you're in with George. What was that process like?
It was literally the easiest audition of my life. The reason being is because I thought I didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting it. So I was like, come on, who cares, I really didn't think it was possible that I would be in a George Lucas Indiana Jones TV series. So the pressure's kind of off because you're really like, what are the odds I'm going to get this? George, what's up? Nice to meet you. And you do your reading. If you really think you have a shot, you're like, oh, fuck, that's George Lucas. Whoa, man. But at that point it was just so outside of the realm of possibility that I could be young Indy that I was just completely relaxed, and it just was natural. I met everybody. It was a process of like it was when I first started out. So I met up the casting director's assistant, read for her 15 times. Then the casting director. Then the casting director's supervisor. Then we actually did a screen test with 6 scenes. That was like full wardrobe, makeup, sets, dollies, tracks, everything. We shot 6 scenes of Young Indy. And, then I had to wait around, and then they wanted to reshoot something, and then wait around again. And then they called and said I had it, and a week later I was on a plane to London. It was, I was waiting tables at the time, and pretty much everybody at the restaurant, they'd get like a commercial, a Crest commercial, and they'd be like, all right, I'm out, I'm quitting, right, I'm out. I had 3 national commercials running when I got Young Indy, which, did quite well, financially for me as a waiter, but I was petrified to quit my job because, I mean, to me, even though I had 3 of them, I thought, well, that's it. That's my 3 lucky moments. It'll never happen again. And so when I got Young Indy, I didn't quit until like 2 days before I got on a plane, because I was still convinced that, like, you know, it wasn't around at the time, but whatever the equivalent is of Ashton Kutcher busting through a door going, you know, I was just certain that, like, George was going to go, oh, dude, serious, he didn't really think we were going to, you know, but they flew me to London, and 42 episodes later, you know.
How many countries did you go to for the filming? Because they filmed everywhere.
40-something countries. It was, I had to get a passport to do Young Indy. And it was my first foray into international travel. And I saw the world, man. I saw the world.
You're in the gear. You've got, you're doing, in some of the scenes, not all of them, because, you know, it wasn't always the fedora and the whip. But the first time they fitted you for that fedora and the whip, what's going through your head?
Everything that you can imagine. Put it on yourself, that's what I was feeling. I mean, still, at the same time, I was in London, you know, and we were at Berman's, this huge costume house, and they ordered these hats. And I remember the lady telling me these are the finest hats made. They're 380 pounds, and at the time it was like $225 exchange. I'm like, this hat's like almost $1,000. And she's like, we're gonna have 6 of them because you may ruin. I'm like, fucking 6 of them. You know, that was just like, I'm just adding it up in my head. You know, it's like in the racing world. You know, they say, you know, helmets are very expensive. They say, you know. People complain about, you know, $100 lid. They're like, well, $100 lid, do you have a $100 head? You know, and I was thinking, like, wow, my head's not even worth this much. And the fedora, you're like $4,000 in fedoras. It was just all kind of mind-boggling to me, you know, the scope and everything. It was just, you know, and then you kind of feel the weight and, you know, the level of import that the show, you know, mandates, because it's George Lucas. It's, you know, I was petrified of screwing something up, you know. That was it, you know. And then Vic Armstrong teaches me to use a whip and everything, and you realize, wow, these are the real guys, man. Vic Armstrong was Harrison's stunt double. It's like, it was a little overwhelming, but it was a wonderful experience.
You go on from that to do a lot of great character pieces, and one of those is Troy Duffy's Boondock Saints. When you... They're still drunk from November, but that's okay, still. When you start to get around that process, because there's a pretty quick casting process, right? To actually get into the movie where Troy knew who the McManus brothers were going to be.
No, it was pretty long, actually.
Huh?
It was, I still am to this day. I consider myself like a working actor. Like, there's stars, there's celebrities, and there's, like, actors, you know? And I consider myself like a working actor. I've been to 3 premieres in my life. I get invited to every single one of them. I have a jiu-jitsu academy that the majority of my time is spent at, and so I'm a little separated from that kind of portion of the industry. But I know that a lot of guys like Marky Mark were up for the role. A lot of those guys were like campaigning for the role. Guys with like huge names, you know. And I was just an actor, so I had to, you know, go through the whole process of doing a screen test. And Troy liked me. We got Norman. You know, they decided whether there was like brotherly chemistry. It was a long process, and it took a lot of convincing, because when Miramax was on board, and it was Harvey Weinstein and all those guys, they wanted guys like, you know, all the requisite stars, you know, all of those guys, the big-name guys, you know. And somehow me and Norman Reedus got the parts, because, you know, Troy liked us, thought we were right for the role, and but it was a long, arduous process.
Yeah, but can you see Mark Wahlberg and Brad Pitt as the McManus brothers? Can you guys see that? No, certainly not.
Come on, come on, come on. Dum, 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 come on, come on, come on.